Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and we are minting coins. And it's a crazy day with what's happening. We have Genesis, the digital currency trading group Genesis, looking for an emergency loan for $1 billion. They need that by Monday. What happens if they don't get that loan? Are they going to go bankrupt? Is that going to affect how many other companies? Because Genesis is, they have hundreds of millions of dollars, I believe, out in loans. Everything is connected, so much connected. At the same time, we hear El Salvador purchasing 1 Bitcoin a day until Bitcoin hits $100,000. There is a lot happening in the world. There's a lot happening in crypto. Super excited to get into it and talk about it. And we have a bunch of people here and ready to go to join me to discuss what's happening. And first we have on the show, Novax. Hey, Novax, do you want to say hello, introduce yourself?
Hello, my friends. Hello, Gary. It's great to be here. I wrestled up some friends, and it looks like we've got a bunch of people joining us on video as well. So, I mean, I couldn't be more excited for the conversation tonight.
Very cool. And yeah, man, thanks for everything you do in Web3, and thanks for, your strong commitment to creating content, creating shows. You first came around on the scene. I was like, who is this guy? And yeah, just like such strong persistence, such strong personality, so helpful in the community in getting information out there. Definitely excited to have you with us.
Right on, Gary. Thank you. Yeah, I kind of skipped the intro of myself. I always hesitate on that. I don't know what to say. I'm an enthusiast of crypto. I started mining some cryptocurrency in 2017. I had some GPUs laying around because I was doing some documentary making. I was doing a lot of rapid rendering, some video footage editing. That's a little word jumble. And I ended up basically, having, after the project was done, I had some great hardware and needed something to do with it. Some friends pointed me at ETH, and it was just, a journey of discovery on all the early dexes and stuff, iDex and Ether Delta, and just exploring decentralized finance before it was called that, before, we had the big breakouts more recently. So I've been around for a little minute. Come and gone, done a lot of trading, and have kind of landed on ENS, as you know, and that's where I spend a lot of my time in the ENS and historical and PFP communities, and now increasingly exploring the metaverse. So Michael Meta is here with us today, who's also a friend and fellow metaverse explorer too. So there's a lot of us kind of pushing in that direction. January Walker is in the house, who is also an incredible force for blockchain. She is the blockchain candidate. She just ran a very awesome campaign in Utah District 4, competing for representation in our Congress, to be out there representing blockchain voting and all the things that she does. So I think we're just going to have a nice time chatting, man. I'm really glad that you're on.
Novax, you're supposed to be hyping yourself. You're introducing all the guests. You're taking away their opportunity because you're diverting.
You're right, Gary.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to get to them, but let's say hello first to 184. How you doing? I hope you don't have another sad story.
No, I'll give you a real story, a serious story. Hi everybody, I'm 184.eth. I minted my very first domain in May 2017. What immediately compelled me to ENS was a combination of two things. I was hearing a story. Vitalik used to write these articles. He wrote these vivid articles about what the future of blockchain might look like. All these different entities, all these different activities, interactions, devices, and how that would exist on the blockchain. And at the same time, it was the most obvious thing of ENS, which was simple, sleek, easy ways to replace your 42 hex address. So at the time, this was really relevant to me because I just got into crypto, and back then the tech and the apps were a little bit different. So I had my paper wallet, which had my private key, my hex private key, and I had my wallet address as well, the 0x one. And I was typing them out. I'd send them to people, and I was always scared, am I accidentally going to send my private key and suddenly be sad the next day? So hearing about ENS, immediately that solution was right there. So yeah, ENS was a no-brainer. And after that, went down the rabbit hole and came to the conclusion the ETH future and the ENS future are the same. They go hand in hand. And so I got started on the ecosystem, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah, game changer. You know what I mean? It's like the first time you send an email, the first time you send a cryptocurrency transaction, the first time you use an ENS name. There's a lot of firsts with so much change. It's like so much has changed, so little has changed. But I think what it comes down to is that things are changing. And speaking of change, January Walker, great to see you.
Yeah, thank you, Gary, so much for having me on this call. I'm just so absolutely grateful anytime that I talk to this community. Since Novak didn't alkalate himself enough, I was very impressed when he joined a chaotic space that we were having with Lobby 3, and he's a supporter of Lobby 3, which is kind of essentially, I don't want to say the Ford Party's DAO, but that's my impression of it. And he just jumped in and really came in with a strong voice. So kind of like you, I was like, who is this guy? And just found him to be very impressive and a force for good. I don't know if people that are in this group have heard him sing, but he's a remarkable singer. Like the fact that he isn't some superstar on a stage performing in front of thousands of people is really mind-blowing and surprising to me. But so yes, I ran for Congress in 2022. I have been dubbed the blockchain candidate by Multiple Change just because of the fact that I champion many solutions that rely on the technology. Not all my solutions do, but many of them do. And I'm very excited for distributed ledger technology and what it's going to do for our nation and our world. I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean that's great. That's perfect. It's also very concise. I mean, as a politician, I think you're probably trained on the 30-second soundbite, because you probably normally, I would just imagine you're normally, you have to make sure that you get out the message, and that's a really good skill, not just being able to develop the idea in deeper thought, but just to pack out a good sentence or two to get the idea across.
I really appreciate that you say that, because consistently, so I hired a political consultant. He's more of a volunteer at this point, but he's always saying you have to practice your speech, and I'm like, I don't have a speech. I just speak from the heart. And so the fact that it sounds concise and it makes sense to you has a lot of value to me. So thank you.
Absolutely. Michael Meta.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me, guys. And obviously, Novax, thanks for bringing me in. He's amazing and does so many wonderful things for the projects I'm involved in. And it was a godsend, actually. So I just got to hear him sing now. But
I hope he does. That'll be a treat.
Yeah,
we'll get you one day. So for now, keep doing what you're doing, though, with the groups, creating the chats, and everything else amazing you're part of. So thanks for that. And thank you, Gary. Thanks, 184. January Walker. That sounds so great what you're doing by creating bridges with these government agencies and bringing it into your, I guess, legislature. I'm not sure the terminology, but into your speaking grounds with other politicians and other groups, and bring it to the forefront is amazing to hear from a guy like me that's trying to do the same thing with in real life art into NFTs. So it's nice to hear someone else is building bridges out there, and keep it up.
I hope you keep it up as well. Sorry, I almost dropped my phone here.
That's okay. So myself, I'm newer into crypto for the last 2 years. I started with some gaming coins and stuff like that. Was able to learn some trading platforms pretty well, and I was able to squeeze out a couple $1,000 or make some good trades. And along those lines of every day, investing my time into learning about the space, learning about NFTs, listening to podcasts and YouTube crypto people and stuff speak, I got down into the rabbit hole, obviously, and found the metaverse. And I was really turned on by that because I'm an art gallery guy in the real life. And I own some retail spaces that I have to be at every day. People don't come visit you like they used to. And just seeing the metaverse spaces that I could actually easily create, bring my real life art, and have everyone from around the world view it in a matter of seconds was super appealing. Took all my funds basically and bought every land I could find, be a big land developer basically. And now I'm training people in other galleries to see the same vision. And I'll possibly have a business where I'm bringing or onboarding other art galleries, other businesses into the metaverse. I'll custom build and develop properties for them. That's kind of what I'm into. And also, you'll see the skulls behind me. Very happy and heavy with the crypto skull community. I've purchased a few original crypto skulls. They're a great NFT, one of the original 10,000 PFP collections after the CryptoPunks. And they've just been rediscovered as a historical NFT. And I'm working on branding and marketing on this project. And there's brother-sister project, the Cyber Skulls, which is a futuristic take on the original concept by adding like virtual reality glasses and digital accessories to the newer project. And that's on the ground level now, and we're building it, teaming up with these guys, the Crypto Skulls, being embraced by that community, and things are just starting to ripple now. So that's another cool thing that's happened to me in crypto.
That's really, really cool. That's exciting to hear. And yeah, it sounds like a merger and evolution of the existing and what is sort of the ground that other people have like created around us and before us, and then the merging of like the new energy in terms of the present and actions that people are taking right now, building on top of, the shoulders of the very short shoulders of, NFTs from 2017 or crypto from 2011, 2012, or, Satoshi Nakamoto's work on top of that. And yeah, a little bit later in the show, like I'm hoping that we can get deeper into the crypto skulls and learn a little bit about that. Maybe we'll, yeah, definitely check out some of those collections on Gem and yeah, explore that together in a little bit. But before,
would love to.
Yeah, because that's definitely like really fun to look at and check out. Yeah, but before we do, oh, what's that?
It sounded like Novak's was about to sing.
Yeah, no, it was definitely not me about to sing. But no, I'm curious to see where you're going to take us, Gary.
Yeah, well, but before all that, I just want to, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe to this video. Like this video, comment, engage with this content. The engagement helps us. Liking this video, sharing it helps us tremendously. Follow me on Twitter. Yes, this is the page I meant to be on. And follow me on Twitter. Follow the show on Twitter. Minting Coins, twitter.com/minting coins. Gary Palmer, twitter.com/Gary Palmer Jr. And become a patron either through Patreon or directly through the website. Become a member. Support the show. Your support allows us to stay independent, and it allows us to support independent content creators for Web3, so we can continue doing this and and doing it for you. So really excited about that, and to do that, moving forward. But we're I guess I'm thinking the first thing, with talking about change and talking about the old and talking about the new, there is always a lot of things happening and a lot of things changing. And let it be on the art side or the technology side, or let it be on the political side, right? There is a lot happening, and it's happening very quickly. With you think about the FTX situation, you think about the cascading effects that this has caused directly. You think about the cascading effects, of FTX from like not just FTX but Binance, right? Binance taking out the number 2, donor to a lot of political organizations. What we're seeing, in yesterday's show is that now we have increased scrutiny at CZ and Binance, because Binance is rolling, Binance having a very large position. But even beyond that, we see the effects at FTX, we see the effects at crypto.com, and, let it be, what was it, BlockFi, and, people are just trying to figure out how far does this contagion go with a number of centralized organizations, centralized and unregulated financial institutions that aren't even really trading Bitcoin, right? They're just trading things on computer screens. They're not really using real currency, real DeFi, although, this may affect DeFi. But even, it's concerning to me, because I want to have the conversation of the differences between these centralized financial services that, are having these major problems, the differences between those and DeFi, which has been working flawlessly, and it's totally open and publicly verifiable, and everybody can see exactly what's there, and it's over collateralized. So if there was a problem, people would be able to see that problem right away. In contrast to the centralized organizations, nobody knows what they're doing. But the thing is that we I feel like we can't really have that conversation at high levels, because the contagion, isn't over, right? As far as I'm concerned, every single centralized exchange is at major risk. And I would be extremely concerned about having any crypto on any exchange. And what we're seeing now, I could zoom in right here. This was yesterday from Grayscale. And just talking about Grayscale and Genesis announced that it was temporarily suspending the redemptions. And this Genesis Capital, not a counterparty of Grayscale, but nevertheless, there's a lot going on here. And, the news that we're hearing today is that, like actually just a couple hours ago, is that Genesis is now looking for $1 billion loan, right? Like Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, they were looking for what, like 3 billion or 5 billion, even though now we realize it's like 13 billion is what we heard today. And this is just, I got to pull my hands up here to do air quotes. This is just 1 billion, which seems to be a lot. It's like there's no $1 billion bill, but yeah, so this just seems really, really crazy, that there's, such a large organization like Genesis. And yeah, this is just, we don't know how long is this going to affect the market before we hit the bottom. And so you got to look at this from a legal perspective, a political perspective, a humans continuing to get hurt perspective, a education perspective of people confusing this with DeFi.
I think that this is really fascinating right here. Admittedly, I've kind of been tuned out a little bit this week to the things that have been happening, just taking a break after the elections. But in seeing the behaviors and pulling out funding, this is exactly what the centralized banks were trying to prevent during COVID, to prevent essentially another depression from happening. So the fact that crypto is experiencing this is really interesting to see overall. But I don't think that, my personal opinion, that it's not anything that can't be overcome or worked through. I think that humans have an amazing ability to pull together and to collaborate and stabilize unstable situations. So, I personally hope that they get what they need in order to stabilize their market.
Yeah, it's a lot of people pulling out all their money at the same time, and they just don't have the liquidity to meet the demand. And you know, without going super deep, I'm not exactly sure if it. It seems. I mean, what they're saying is that, and obviously, what they say one day and what we hear the next day can be two completely different things. But they're saying it's not a solvency issue. They're saying that they have the solvency. They're just saying they don't have the liquidity because of the, you know, the deep cut, you know, essentially coming from FTX. And, you know, because like FTX caused like this huge loss of liquidity because they just lost like $13 billion. And then that's cascading to other companies that are becoming insolvent because now they don't have the money for their backing of those loans, because, you know, just like BlockFi is like, you know, BlockFi is out. And January Walker's out. She probably like chopped her phone. I'm sure
that's okay. But you know what, though? It's also from the markets being down like 75%. So these huge these companies here, they lost so much money in the markets themselves that this is the part of the problem too. So their positions got smoked. They lost billions of dollars and misspent it. So I was just saying, sorry, January, we lost you there, but I picked it up and said, also due to the fact that the markets are down so bad, these companies misspent so much of the money and lost so much money in their positions that it's become this house of cards now where everything hurts and there's no money to be spread around as it was before.
So this becomes potentially enigmatic of the issue, which is when you have customers' tokens, when you have customers' money and you're trading with it, well, that's the issue. Because you got to ask the question, if they need $1 billion to cover the liquidity, well, is $1 billion enough? I mean, is it $1 billion today, or is it $1 billion tomorrow, $1 billion after that? I mean, the market going down is there, I don't want to use the word negligence, but the market going down is from them using someone's assets.
They overdipped, overspent, and overlooked a bunch of things. It's very irresponsible.
And so what assurity is there that $1 billion is enough? I mean, unless you're putting it out there, and you can't always do this as a business, you need to sort of instill confidence, but it's saying, well, $1 billion is enough, as in $1 billion solves our liquidity issues. I want to know $1 billion solves liquidity issues, and here's the proof. Not $1 billion solves it today, we think, because, you know, we were trading and we're doing some stuff and we're not too sure and we might come back a little bit later. It just seems like, you know, it's a stopgap. It's not much.
And what I'm saying is that it's not just Genesis. It's not just the $1 billion they need by Monday. It's not just the next $1 billion that they're going to need after that. What I'm saying is that there's a cut coming from FTX playing games, going $13 billion in the hole with everybody, you know, depending, because just to be clear with the whole FTX thing, they not only did they do all this stuff, which like, I don't know if we should have like a whole show just to talk about it, you know, but like they took their token that wasn't worth anything. They gave it to somebody as money in exchange for pieces of their company, right? So they gave like monopoly money in exchange for, you know, these real assets. And then they forced the people with the monopoly money, they forced the monopoly money to stay inside FTX. And so when FTX went up, everything that FTX bought is FTX's, and everything FTX gave was still inside FTX. So like everybody that was ever connected to FTX got hurt, got cut. FTX, $13 billion in the hole. FTX cutting through BlockFi, FTX cutting through crypto.com and all these other exchanges. FTX now cutting $1 billion into Genesis. Now, you know, then Genesis, right? This cutting into like, you know, so many other things that potentially Genesis is connected to, because Genesis had $131 billion in loans in 2021 and ended Q3 2022 with $2.8 billion in active loans, right? $2.8 billion, right? And I mean, in active loans, and they need $1 billion just to call, you know, solve the liquidity. And again, I don't know what the solvency is. Like maybe it's good, but then just how far and deep and long is like, when is the cut? Like if FTX was the skin and Genesis is the muscle, like are we going to hit the bone? Because and don't get me wrong, it's a great thing. Once we hit the bone, once a knife is done going through, once everybody like that needs to sell or gets flushed out is flushed, then, we'll eventually hit the bottom. And after you hit the bottom, then you go back up.
Yeah. Can I jump in here, Gary?
Yeah, jump.
Yo, I just want to say that, the lesson here is just the self-custody lesson over and over again. That not your keys, not your coins is much more than just, an expression or what have you. Like, this is what it means. That what it means is that when you surrender that little convenience, if I forget my password, I want to be able to log in again. Or even a lot of guys who knew better, they said, it's a nice little bit of a passive income, isn't it? They're offering me 6% or whatever. That seems pretty reasonable. As soon as you give up your keys, as soon as you're on the centralized custodial exchange, I mean, the fractional reserve game is started all over again with your crypto. And there's just, CZ was saying he was interested in kind of promoting and putting forward something that he'd done with Binance proof of reserves. I watched him in some articles and some video stuff he'd done, just had already scheduled before the stuff went down. And he was talking about proof of reserves. And at the very least, if you're going to deal with a centralized exchange, you would hope that they would have some way of disclosing their on-chain reserves. And I believe that they should be over collateralized. I don't even think that they should be fractionally collateralized crypto. It's just so easy to prove it. The fact that people are duped this way is just, I think it just shows that the core founding ethos needs to be emphasized and reiterated again and again. It's now not your keys, not your stadium. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big lesson to learn. We all learn with a few tokens, a few NFTs or whatever, but now, people are learning with the big boy assets, and it's a hard lesson to learn.
Look how easy this reads. Like, this is how it works. Like, step 1, you give your crypto to Gemini. Step 2, Gemini gives your crypto to Genesis, right? So that's 2 losses. Like that, now it's 2 steps away. Step 3, Genesis lends your crypto to a fund, 3 steps away. The fund borrows from Genesis X plus 2%. So they borrow. So now they're borrowing. They give it away. Then they borrow funds, and then I'm not a master's in finance, but this is just one place giving your crypto to another place, borrowing it from another place, loaning it to another place, and I think this is called like rehypothecation, right? Yeah. Where it's like you don't even know. It's like being lent out multiple times, and you don't even know who owns it.
When was the last time that we saw an instance of this? Do you guys recall?
2008 subprime mortgage tranching.
Well, depends what you mean.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the thing about CZ showing proof of funds, I mean, how can we trust that? Because proof of funds don't show anything, right? It doesn't show proof of business activity. It doesn't represent what sort of debts they have. It doesn't show us anything like that. So it's a step forward, but it's also a little bit of smoke and mirrors until someone comes in on the other end and says, we can verify that they don't have X number of debts elsewhere. Loans out elsewhere. That doesn't show us anything other than they have a lot of money. But remember, that's our money. So how much do they owe other people? That's a concern. But I want to jump to the FTX thing as well. And this whole FTX BS that's going on, we got to remember that this is pure criminality. Like, there are so many layers of the criminality that have occurred. And that's just worth noting. So when we have the not your keys, not your coins, it's the great lesson that we take from this, which is when you custody, you can sort of bypass some of that criminality. You don't have to be susceptible to areas where there can be criminality. But in saying that, we also need to go after them because they did do something criminal on many, many layers. So anyone that did go into FTX or Gemini or whatever, that still needs to be looked at. And along the way, we take those lessons. So criminality still needs to be addressed.
Yeah. So my personal opinion on this, just going through, listening a little bit more, and then I looked up a couple of things just because, like I said, I've kind of been tuned out this week. But in looking at what's happening, it's quite alarming. And the fact that these groups, I mean, if they were a regular financial institution, they would have been subject to many laws. It seems that there's gaps in our current legislation. And if that's the case, then we need to, in my personal opinion, is not necessarily have it roll up under the SEC or the CTG, but instead have its own class of regulation that aligns to this area, but also addresses those special circumstances.
Yeah, somebody in the DAO, in the Lobby 3 DAO a couple months ago was saying wisely that they thought that the solution for a regulatory framework that made sense for centralized fiat or for centralized crypto exchanges would look something like a lessening of the or a reworking of the existing framework for securities. And I thought that that was kind of intelligent to say that instead of, that we should try to make them work under the same umbrella since all that infrastructure is there. But I think what you're saying is kind of maybe, the best solution, because there's these gray areas. And that's the thing where it's just ambiguity. So many people who would like to do more are really burdened by the ambiguity, and lawyers cannot give any binary yes or no. It's just a lot of like safer, hotter, colder. So the people who are rewarded are the people who take the risk. And what does that do? It creates a selection bias for people like SBF who like to take a whole lot of risk, I guess.
No, absolutely. And then I am running out of time for the evening, but I kind of want to just leave with this. If we had the correct legislation in place, if we had the correct legislatures that were knowledgeable in this area that could be addressing these things, I honestly think that we could have put preventative measures in place to have protected every single person that is experiencing, we'll just say, this hardship, for lack of a better term. But I have a lot of hope for the future. We still need to make sure that the legislation that's put in place is the correct legislation, and that we don't fall prey to, how do I put it? There are individuals that would like to see this space fail because it protects the money and currency that they have today. But there's a balance to be had that allows this space to continue to grow, because it's not just cryptocurrency, but allows it to continue to grow, and also allows for them to have the current strongholds that they do today.
Yeah, you probably agree. Just like the early internet, there was legislation that was required, and that legislation of the early internet didn't make it, illegal to have a website. It didn't make it illegal to send email, right? It allowed the free flow of entrepreneurs to build on the internet, to continue developing a free and open internet. And it didn't allow AT&T to say no, sending a text over the internet. If AT&T had their way, AT&T would say doing a Skype call, or a Zoom call is illegal, right? AT&T in the 80s would prefer in the future that was illegal, or it had to go through a phone line. And, it wasn't restricted. It was free speech. It was continued. And it sounds like what you're saying is like, that's where we're at now, is that we have to have responsible, obviously there needs to be some legislation. There's some structure, and we don't want that structure to overreach. We don't want that structure to, and from my perspective, we don't want that to infringe on open source code. We want open source code to be legal, like Ethereum, like ENS, like these different Web3 protocols, which includes, things like Uniswap, right? Like there needs to be a middle ground. So normal, like just everyday citizens can continue to use Uniswap, which is a decentralized smart contract that doesn't require KYC, and we need a world that allows that. And that's really, really difficult when we have bad actors who are making these really, really,
poor choices.
These poor choices. And it concerns me that that they're not being treated, like Sam Bankman-Fried is not being treated the same way as someone like Alexi, who is the open source developer of Tornado.cash, who's in jail for like over 100 days now, and I don't think there's charges against him because of this financial services, allegations or whatnot from the United States. And Sam Bankman-Fried is like, not only is he like free and walking around and going around on Twitter, but there's this really, you know, high-end New York Times event. You guys know about this? There's this New York Times event, this book summit coming up in like a week and a half here in New York City. It's going to have major speakers like the president of Ukraine and Eric Adams, the mayor of New York. Sam Bankman-Fried is still listed as like a main speaker who, and I'm just like sort of shocked that someone that, you know, is like being, I mean, I don't know if you guys are paying attention, there's like amazing amounts of fraud and like just negligence, like being like alleged. And all of these folks are speaking. He's at the top of the ticket. And last I checked, you know, like I'm just comparing this to Lexi, to, you know, Ross Ulbricht, to Virgil Griffith, and, you know, what's going on, you know?
Wait,
So
Well,
there's
I
all
mean,
these.
in this instance, we know that the media, which the New York Times is, the news networks, they reward controversy. They reward people that are interesting, good or bad. And I think that it's safe to say that he's in one of those positions. But I really like the points that you've brought up, Gary. I'm probably going to tune into your show a little bit more, just because I really think that it's thoughtful. And I just wanted to thank you for including me in this conversation. Thank you also to Novax, 184, and Michael as well.
Heck yeah, January. I was going to say before you dip out, I can't wait till you have a chance to really familiarize yourself with some of the stuff. You've been so busy finalizing your campaign and wrapping everything up. Congratulations on a successful, well-thought campaign, and on the integrity and principle to fight a losing campaign for the principle, to raise the awareness and grow, you know, your brand as the blockchain candidate, and out here, I think, fighting for a new brand of transparent and authentic kind of representation. It's very cool. And I think that once you see some of the connections, you had some trolls and presumed DNC hacks kind of sabotaging you or just trying to encumber you in different ways. And one of the things that we see with this Sam Bankman-Fried thing is that he's like this huge contributor to these political factions, to the DNC and all this kind of stuff. So it's really interesting, actually, from that perspective. And I don't want to get you any hot water or anything before you got a chance to look at it, but go and dig and see what you can find that's just on Main Street right now, and really see the gravity of it. I mean, it's really significant. I don't know what to make of it. None of us do. And that's why we keep talking about it, but it's really something.
Well, Coin Center is looking at it, and Coin Center is just, the bottom line is that we want to make sure that the legislation that does go through, that we have thoughtful people like you, right, January, that totally, you know, like, I'm not sure what you are like up to speed on, but I know that you do have like an excellent grasp of the industry. And we just want to make sure that with all of this craziness that's coming out of like these folks' bad decisions, that that they don't make, you know, DeFi or open source code like more like illegal at all.
And
Yeah,
I think,
no, I would definitely agree. I think that, you know, if there's anybody out there that's listening to this, that's saying, that has a connection to these individuals, to these legislatures, have them reach out. We're here to help. We really don't come with a bias or preference towards one way or another. We just want to see success on all levels with all people. But I so much very apologize.
Thanks
I have another call
thanks
coming
for
in.
no, totally. Yeah. Thanks for showing up, and we'll hopefully see you again. And yeah, until next time.
Yep.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. Thanks again, Gary.
See ya.
Have a great one, January. Thank you. Yeah, guys, January Walker, congressional candidate for the 4th district in Utah. She's so cool. And I've been on spaces with her where she has straight up taken some troll crap and just dealt with it really gracefully. Just like, oh yeah, okay, well,
Yeah,
that's,
I didn't know about any of
and,
that. I have to learn more about that on the back channels with you guys. But yeah, that's really unfortunate.
you know, she really rolls up her sleeves and gets in there with the people, and she, you know what I mean? I think that's a really
I know
important
that.
thing. You know how so many political candidates, they just kind of like take pre-canned questions and stuff, and and they don't really speak their mind openly. So it's so great. I think we should do some metaverse events and try and support, her and people like her, just kind of grow the community of, people who are innovating in that way. Because imagine all the regulatory compliance nightmare that she had to go through to get her campaign funded with NFTs and all that stuff. Even that would be cool to do an episode with her, just talking about that, to try and pave the way for more candidates like her.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a trailblazer. It's a case study, and when Neo was in the Matrix, nobody makes it when they jump. They do the jump across the building. Nobody makes the first jump.
That's right. I forgot about that scene.
and it's just like, and nobody can do something until someone has done it before. And there's now like a path, and there's now a case study, and there's now a better understanding. And I mean, that's how evolution happens, right? Evolution in thought, and evolution in culture, and evolution, like, art or science, you know what I mean? Or like dolphins, right? There's like animal behavior where the animals like learn behaviors from their group. And if those animals are born in a different group and that group doesn't have the same behaviors, then the animals never learn that behavior, right? And it might be like how to like crack a coconut or something with some primates. And then with dolphins, it might be like how to school fish, like this thing that dolphins do with like they there's like certain pods of dolphins. They'll find a pool of fish and they'll swim around the fish, and they'll use their tails to kick up the sand, right? And then the fish are sort of stuck in this donut because they can't see which direction to leave. And then the dolphins just dive through and just have their smorgasbord. And yeah, I mean, it's only those dolphins that like learned how to do that and teach it to their kids. And that's how all this works. Because when we learn new concepts, when we learn new ideas, every idea needs to be connected with a previous idea, right? You can't just take the idea of a helicopter or and like bring it to somebody in like the Amazon that has no connection with civilization, right? Because they have no connection with like steel or manufacturing or electronics, right? It's like maybe they saw a bird in the sky and there's a helicopter, and then you just like have like it's just like Big Bird or something, right? It's like you need some sort of idea to connect, to hook a new idea into. And that's one of the problems with Web3. Like parts of it is so new, things about it are so it's like such a paradigm shift in terms of thinking that it's really hard for someone to hook like and this happened with the internet, right? It's like, hey, it's a world wide web, and people are like, and there's spiders, right? The spiders crawl the website, and right, and all of this was really confusing. The people are like, okay, there's like webs and there's spiders and there's like nets and there's email, and people are talking to the email or the actual postmaster like that's delivering the mail. They're like, what's up with this email? And that guy doesn't know anything about it, because like they're taking this new idea and they're trying to hook it into the only thing that they know. And it's basically like telling them a helicopter is a bird, and us telling them, hey, this Web3 MetaMask thing is your wallet. And they're like a wallet in my pocket. It's like, I don't get it. It's like, how is this art? Like, how is this like real, right? How is this monkey picture like tangible, right? It's like they don't have anything. They're thinking about it like, oh, it's a JPEG, and they're not realizing the underlying technology. It's like forever connected on the blockchain and the right. And so brand new ideas, and it's just so hard to get through that paradigm shift, right? As an artist, Michael, what do you think about that?
Well, I have lots to say, but I want to let 184 get in there for a sec because he's been trying to like get at it for a minute.
No, it's okay. Carry on. We don't need to go back to FTX. We know that we're moving forward. That's superb.
All right, cool. So yeah, Trent. So bringing real art into the metaverse and like dealing with like real life clients from the real life painting thing, and them seeing me do digital stuff. Yes, exactly. It has them all confused. They don't know what's up with Michael now. He's all this digital stuff. He used to make real life paintings. We used to see on his Instagram, and now we're seeing these pixelated skulls and stuff like that. So it's so new to them. But that's the bridge that I'm talking about now, where I'll create naturally those conversations. Just by posting a pic of that, someone's going to ask, what is that? Then I can explain the story. Then the next step is them getting one, which is like installing the MetaMask wallet and walking them through those stages. And then really bringing people on board through stuff like that. They'll tell a friend because they're going to like it. They're going to like buying this cool art, being part of these cool communities. And then the word spreads. So just like the internet, yeah, they called them crazy, but those crazy people kept using it, showing others the benefits of it. And it grew and stuck. There's big use cases that I'm getting out of personal, the metaverse. Number one, I have the virtual galleries. They're working for me. People coming in and out, looking at my stuff, even if it's just a snap screen of the virtual metaverse that I've created and not them actually entering the metaverse, that picture is doing the same thing on Instagram or Facebook of them actually entering the metaverse. They're seeing what I'm doing, they're getting the visual, and then it's connecting in some way. And they're liking it.
It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get more common.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm using the use case. I'm just an artist guy, but I've actually found a way to utilize these spaces in the real world and show off this new kind of art and get people engaged in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Paradigm shifts for sure. And yeah, it's just everything is happening so quickly, and everything is happening like it's not just that everything is happening fast, but there's so many different things that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just overwhelming.
It's like instant changing. Like by tomorrow you're doing something else now. Holy shit, you got this new technology.
It reminds me of like a shock and awe strategy. You know what I mean? It's just shocking us with, and it's like stunning, right? It's like stunning the enemy. You know what I mean? It's like not that it's like, enemies or anything, but it's just as like a general group of people and as like a general industry, there's just so much coming at us that and so quickly with the bad decisions that a lot of people are making and the misunderstanding of that information, by at least the mainstream press, right? That is just we're talking about things that should be like 101, like the 101 stuff should be like understanding the difference between centralized exchanges and like the DeFi, but the problem is that we need more young people like participating in politics, and we need more young people participating in everything, because there's a lot of people in politics and they say things like they don't know how Facebook works, or they don't know how things like Google works, right? Mm-hmm. They don't understand how ads pay for things in Web 2, right? I'm talking about Web 2. And so if, let it be politicians or let it be, I don't know, like just normal folk, right? If people don't understand how Web 2 works, then it's even more, and other people are giving misinformation about how Web 2 works, let alone Web 3. It just makes it, it's a lot of work, right? It feels like backtracking, I guess.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
So like for the metaverse, for example, the mainstream media, what you hear all the time is Zuck lost 100 million in the metaverse. You know what I mean? But did he really lose it in the metaverse, or did he lose it by trying to create his own metaverse and something totally different than what's already out there? That is the metaverse, because I'm already using the metaverse and building buildings in it. I have things that are in virtual reality. It's great. Cost me 25,000. You know what I mean? Not 100 million. So are they really building a metaverse or doing something totally different? And that's what the mainstream media is doing by just like throwing dirt on top of the metaverse's name by only calling out one company that's made a big mistake or whatever they did. It's not, doesn't speak for the whole space. So I try to always get that across. What's that?
Sorry about that. And it's not even really the metaverse, is it? Is it using open source technology? Is it using open protocols? Is it collaborative? Is it publicly viewable? Or is it just a centralized metaverse, which is like basically saying a centralized internet?
We don't know what he's doing. That's the problem, actually, too, at the end of the day. That's another question. Is this person even building a metaverse? Because for them to show us those
spent
graphics,
a lot of money.
Yeah, to show us graphics with no legs, like that's what you guys came up with, honestly. Like I said, I'm just a real life artist guy, and I figured out the metaverse, how to use it, build, and I made stuff for 25,000. That'll blow your mind.
I got legs in crypto voxels. I got legs in
Like,
Decentraland. I got
that's why-
legs. I got legs
There
in
you
all
go.
those other places. So
Yeah, I can't see it. I don't see it. And the media is showing you these regular people this stuff, and they're buying into it and saying, "Oh my God, what a shit show!" And it's not the truth.
But I know, and so like it's like we're moving backwards. It's like we have provably cool stuff in Decentraland and provably cool stuff in crypto voxels that's already done.
Exactly.
Like people are using, and it's just just show people that. And there might be scaling issues, and there's always like some issue somewhere. But
there is.
At least they got legs.
Well, exactly.
At least they got legs. I think we should just, the word metaverse is kind of this ambiguous term, right? And so to clarify on that, and when we imagine our audience, right, the objective here, with minting coins is to, I think, in part, make more approachable and and make more known some of those first principles. You know what I mean? To kind of correct some of these erroneous situations where people have really put a lot of funds into a centralized exchange and that kind of a thing, help people to understand how to self-custody. And then they can maybe start to wrap their mind around, once they get some sense of the value of a non-fungible and the definition of a non-fungible asset that they've self-custodied, then I think they're prepared at that point to really understand the metaverse. You could show them some cool avatars dancing around in DCL or somewhere, and they'll get a hint of it. But when they understand the ownership aspect, that no, this is on chain, you can own this land, you can own these, your art can be curated here, you can interact with and do commerce in this space. That's, I think, what they'll be able to kind of compound, just like you were saying, Gary, adding the information, compounding the information. We need to really get them on those foundational self-custody things. So we should definitely dedicate a portion of the show just to a foundational, aspect. Hey, my Ethereum wallet, 101, make a paper wallet, keep it simple, whatever it is, getting people onboarded. And I think Michael's gonna be doing a lot of that with his existing art clientele as he's bringing them on board and stuff. So it'd be great to have some tools that we can link out to them, a little short video we can clip out of here. This is how you do it. It's what you do.
Yeah, that'd be great. These are all things that are going to start happening. I'm like seeing 2023 right now. We're still in the low, putting the bricks all together, building the foundation, citing the directions we want to go. And it's going to start to roll out. The next year, you're going to see more and more, like you guys just said, every day it gets bigger. And in the next coming year, it's going to be more onboarding events, stuff, people getting in this thing in groups. I could see it happening. As instead of having like a live art gallery party, ooh, like, come look at my art tonight. Like, no. Come here, we'll talk about MetaMask, what it is, what you can do with it, and here, sit down and sign up for it, and then purchase this set of NFTs, which belong to basically us, but they do belong to us, and then they can start exploring and get their own collections.
Yeah, some of what Michael is doing with the synthesis of his art style with the cyber crypto skulls, and then discovering a way right now and contemplating a way to introduce that art and create a market for that art. That's, I think, a really unique kind of like for him to take his IRL art and put it on chain. There's a few people doing this, right? A lot of people exploring this. Damien Hirst is the example I always bring up with the currency collection. And then also Alex from Ethon Art with his Ethon canvas. I'm holder of number 2 on that project. I think it's really cool. He's sending me the canvas, and I hold the NFT right now, and I have the freedom to separate them from one another. I don't have to sell them as a package. And with the currency, it was the case that one or the other would be burned by a certain date. And so just negotiating like where the value is, the discovery of value with physical, tangible art and tokenization of that art. Or what I like more, Michael, for you, is tokenization that embellishes your art. I like your art standing on its own IRL, and then I really enjoy the idea of it having an associated augmented experience or animation experience that's tokenized, something like that.
No, that'd be great. That's great. I think for a lot of artists, they're going to love that. One of the main things that I'm focusing on now, though, is instead of pushing my own art was I found a great collection that I really like, that I can gravitate towards, that already has great art, that already has somewhat of a community, and the cyber skulls filled all those boxes there for me. And then that was
cyber skulls or the cyber crypto skulls or the crypto skulls.
The cyber crypto skulls is the new baby. That's the VR version, which is so new that the floor price is so low. Very similar art, co-created kind of from the same collectors as the crypto skulls. So it was a way for me to get a lot of the NFTs. And then once I had so many, it's like, it's my art that I want to push this brand so I can build up this price and community more, because it already has some traction. And I like the art anyway. It's digital. I don't have to physically paint or make anything. And then we can take this on our back and run with it as if it's my own. So that's how I kind of became this branding ambassador for the cyber crypto skulls. A, I hold a lot of them. B, I like the community, and I like to be I'm an entrepreneur, but I like to be a campaigner. So I'd like to spread the word and get people involved in stuff.
Yeah. So is this it right here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah!
That's
Look at
cool.
those beautiful
That's cool.
cybers, baby. That floor is looking too good right now, too, with those bones.
Beautiful pieces. I just picked up a couple actually before this, and this afternoon I had my eye on 7. The gas was a bit high. Someone had scooped them when I went back to get them, so I grabbed a couple different ones. But I'm in and out of this every day, basically. I'm collecting them like crazy. I have 2 original crypto skulls and about 230 of these. It's a 5,000 collection. We have 4,000 holders of the crypto skulls, and maybe only 10% of them know about this. So like, if you like the crypto skulls, you're gonna like this. I keep telling people, it's like having a Ferrari Testarossa in the garage. You have the expensive version, original crypto skull. You don't want to sell it. The Testarossa is in the garage. You wax it on Sunday. But then you got a nice Corvette C8 that you whip up and down the road every weekend. And these are them. They're easy to collect, easier to share and trade. And it's a cool project, fun colors. We're accessible. We're behind it. We're there every day posting about it. And it's a great human touch behind the project, which I really like. And I see the value in doing that more than my own art.
You know,
and that says a lot.
That says a whole lot, because your own art is really nice. And we've been talking with Solo House, who's a DJ from Amsterdam, who does vinyl DJ stuff. It's really rad, to throw a little skulls party in our token gated skull cave on cyber.io/skull cave. So we're adding this metaverse utility where we even hope to partner with him to do some audio, drops, or some kind of skull cyber, glitch art synthesis with some music. We're just talking about all the cool stuff that we can do to provide value for the holders, because we're out here like realizing that, this is just like any PFP project, right? It's kind of like the value is in the community. Like the holders create the value, generate the value. So we're also doing a regular guest from the Skulls community or from the Cybers community every week, or a guest, outside of the community, to get us some info and some, yeah. What? Gary's
nice pickup, buddy. That was awesome.
Gary's
Oh, wow. Love that.
Keep on talking. I'm buying.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great piece too. Love the beard.
Yeah, it's cool. They're fun.
This is number 322.
Yeah, there's some great pickups down there. There's some rarities, really cool features there with the beard and stuff. So
yeah, the beards are coveted.
They're very addictive too, and like the art's beautiful and very affordable. Obviously, that's really cool, and it's something that we're gonna grow and exponentially. You know what I mean? We're gonna get more and more people involved. More of these are gonna sell. People will want them. We're gonna hold them. We're gonna bring the floor up a bit.
I have 100 of them, Gary. I think I got 70 something of them. I'm still trying to get more.
Yeah, I'm buying them every day basically, so I get about 4 or 5 every day. I have 230 something now.
So there's 5,000 total supply is what you're saying.
Yeah. Which have all been minted out for free originally.
Yeah.
500 something, almost 600 holders. So about an average of 10 each. We've got a nice little holder base from the free mint. And I think that the metaverse stuff that we're doing is such a good combo, and we can easily token gate by this collection. It's just a nice thing to be able to say, hey, you can come into the Cyber Skull Cave. You can come to see Michael's art show or our
don't forget that I actually custom built the Cyber Skulls clubhouse in the Substrata metaverse as one of my architectural builds, basically, and it's dedicated to the Cyber Skulls. That's another part of value that I brought in, and as well as Novak's by building his on Cyber. We have this other one too with some cool 3D models that are GTLB files that we can sell as NFTs down the line as well, that we want to get into and expand on that. Right now, we've been really focusing on bridging the two communities, the crypto skulls and the cyber skulls, and getting them to respect us. And it's been working, and it's been great. I've been on the phone with some of the DAO managers this morning out in Ireland and London. They're loving everything that we're doing and think it's very helpful that every time we mention the cyber skulls, that people recognize the crypto skulls, and we're mentioning the crypto skulls as well anyway in the same post. So it's like we're double sharing and bringing both communities together. It's so cool.
What's up with this skull? This says it has 0 traits.
So that's interesting. So what happened there is the computer glitch made the hair all the same colors. So that's why you're seeing some of the skull disappeared.
Wait, where's my thing?
Oh, that's also listed on what's the so that where it's listed on.
So it says trait count. It says there's 82 of them with 0 traits.
Okay, so now in the summertime, when I spoke to Hey Maxi, who is the creator of this account, this collection, he let out the most rare, the ones that have the matching hair in the backgrounds.
Yeah, because those have 0 traits.
Yeah. So those were some of the more rarer ones of the collection at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The trait, so like the way that the trait names and everything.
I don't know if I want to buy it.
Get the hair.
I put some of those in my collection. I got a mix of all of them. You know what I mean? I really like the visor version though. So it does have the visor, and that's a really cool feature. 1% have only, and that's obviously very virtual reality looking. You know?
Yeah. I'm gonna save it there for someone else. So you got a gem out there if somebody wants it.
That's Gary, an expensive one right now, to be honest. If you're investing and you want to make some money in the long term, that's a bit high on the price. But stick towards the floor ones for now, or if you find some good black backgrounds, those are really popular. People like the black ones are not too expensive right now. Maybe for 100 and change, you can get a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, but get in there, Gary. You need 1,000 of these, Gary. We're very high pressure.
1,000. I'll be 1/5 the owner.
Well, yeah,
exactly. That's what we want. Oh, look, there's a black background. So
sick.
We like these. You know, that one is super sick. How much is that one?
That's a good deal. $46. Like, you can't go wrong. You know, I have a few black ones already.
Those are seriously my favorite.
Black one. I like this one with the 3D.
The 3D glasses is really cool. I have a bunch with them. I call them Joker glasses, but the 3D, and they're really cool. Some good variations of those glasses. They're all available near the floor, up to 100. You know, but I stick around the floor. I did spend 100 on 1 or 2 that were really nice that I liked, and I basically will never sell because I like the style of it so much. One of the first reasons why I bought the crypto skulls and these is you get the IP ownership. So you, like they do with those Bored Ape Yacht Club restaurants.
Yep.
You can do the same thing with this. I did it with my art gallery. My gallery is called Sporacco Contemporary, and I utilized the skull in that logo on my Instagram over the summer and stuff, and was using the creative designs of the crypto skulls in my art gallery in real life because I saw it as a branding opportunity. That's why I really liked them. And then when I discovered these were tradable and fun too, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Thanks for letting us share and show off our cybers, man. The thing about it, what we're really about right now, Gary, is like building the community around the cybers. And yeah, here's the Genesis collection. This is partially where I got my start in collecting NFTs. Really, my first one I really wanted and saved up for was my main skull that I'm rocking here. And I love my OG Genesis crypto skull. I like them really clean without a lot of traits. I like them just like minimal. But the real rare ones are like the bones and the game tokens. And the skulls collection has a real interesting story and everything with it. As far as like, it was one that Gary V had bought some real rares and come in and driven a lot of interest in the collection. And there's some other, we have what's the homie's name from the Full House show? The Greek
John
guy.
Stamos.
Stamos is a collector.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got some other high profile celebrity kind of collectors too. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, so we're looking at hopefully when these go up to, you know, when the market's correct and stuff, not even talking about that because it's not even just about the money. Like I said, for me, it's more about the collection. The art was really cool, what I can do with it, build other communities from that. And then the business grows. Like I said, I'm an architect in the digital realm. Some of these communities will want some clubhouses made for them. There'll be ways to make money and bridge more gaps through just doing more and being creative and stuff. So getting back to the money, like these collections were once at $6,000, $7,000 floor for the crypto skulls.
Yeah, I mean, numbers go up, numbers go down, numbers sometimes don't go back up.
Right.
But you know what I mean? I mean, I definitely know how it goes with like some collections and like really being passionate about some collections. And yeah, I mean, I'm always looking at the floor and sniping floors for collections, especially some of these older ones or ones that have just come out before, you know, 2022. And they have like the rights like the Bored Apes do, or the sewer rats or something like that. And yeah, and it's like, you know, and there's a lot of opportunity in what you could do with the IP with these, right? Even if a project is dead, right? If one of these projects is dead and you're able to own like a good amount of them or something, and the usage rights are, you know, in your favor, then it can be really, really advantageous in the future to have a bunch of those, right? And to like use those for art, or to use those for, you know, and like different forms of art, like animation or comics or art. And you know, it does have that historic, it's like IP, you know what I mean? It's intellectual property. It's like, it's not exactly Mickey Mouse, but it's whatever the failed competitor to Mickey Mouse, you know. Not that this is that, but the thing is that with like crypto, what is dead can never die.
No, it's true. There's a use case for everything. If you can figure a way to use it, that's usable. Like I could, if you just to point to what you said about, like, say the collection was dead, you own the IP rights, this really cool art project. No one wants these things. If you could throw a screw at it, they still wouldn't take it. You own them. Now you can rebrand those and then basically resell them at any price you dictate. If you have a good following base and you believe in this project and you're rebranding it and you're getting behind it fully hearted, there's nothing wrong with that. You got them for $5. Nobody wants it no more. You repackaged it, rebranded it, stand behind it, sell it for $100. What's wrong with that?
And I mean, there's like, it's like the opposite of nothing is wrong with that. It's like there's a lot of everything is good with that.
Yeah,
everything is good with that. I mean,
so cool.
And people do that. You know, people buy old trademarks that, you know, the trademarks aren't like alive or valid anymore, and you can purchase those old trademarks. You can purchase, you know, old IP. You know, you can like bring things, you know, back to life. You know, or there's things that fall out of, you know, like whatever, like copyright claim, or because of like the time period. Like Winnie the Pooh just recently is now in the open domain. And now they're making a scary movie based on Winnie the Pooh. It's like he's like a serial killer or something like that. And they can do whatever they want. Anyone can make any Winnie the Pooh because it's no longer in the public domain, or it's no longer private. It's in the public domain. And with these licenses that some of these projects, you know, originally gave, you know, the ownership is given to the owner of, you know, the holder of those NFTs. And you know, it's just the right projects that have the right nostalgic effects, or the right creativity with the right teams, you know, and even the obscurity of it all. You know what I mean? It's like, really, how many people? I mean, I know like Garbage Pail Kids is huge, but there's things out there where it's obscure enough that it's not mainstream, and it's obscure enough when people incorporate it. It's when it's recognized, it's loved.
Exactly. That's what I saw when I saw the skulls. I saw that the branding opportunity, the IP rights were there. Then with the cybers, that I could kind of like put it on my back and use my marketing ability and people skills to navigate this terrain and get it out there. And you know what? We're doing a good job. Novak's caught wind, and we were brought together by the grace of God, like I said. And
I saw your work, man. I saw your work, and I was like, good God, like you don't see people like Michael with the time to do things, because usually the great artists are struggling, and Michael has a little bit of time because he's been doing well with his art. That's a kind of a cool thing about his story, is that he's got a little time to get into the metaverse and get into exploring and learning. I was telling him how I feel about him, like he's like at the top of Maslow's hierarchy. He's created a life for himself at the pinnacle of creativity, where he's able to create. He's created an economy around being a creator, and that means something about his eye, and also about his ability to network and interact with people and to conduct a business. And so seeing his enthusiasm here, I'm like, what an incredible partnership. And the cool thing about the way that we've done this is that Maxi has so gracefully shared the creators fees with Michael and I, so that as partners in this, we can, have the confidence that, we're going to be building something that we have some ownership in, and that we're working with somebody who's a friend. He's in Spain. He's a great creator. I mean, his art, we love his art, right? I mean, what's not to love?
No, I picked it up as my own. Like I said, I believe in that. We're getting a small percentage, but like Novak said, it's still something. But the real cool thing is that we're all entrepreneurs in this. Once you own the cyber skulls, we all want the best for the collection. We want to represent it, right? So whatever stake you have, even if I wasn't teamed up with Novak's, I was still going to be on Twitter and Instagram showing off the cyber skulls, because it's in my best interest to, just as it's in yours or Novak's, or anyone else's for that matter. You're going to talk good things about something that you're happy to own and want to see do well, and want to see other people have and share that joy with too. So that's what's so cool about it all.
That's what people do like being part of groups. Yeah.
That's why the NFTs are so much cooler than in real life art. And I'm almost at the end of the rope with that. Done it, climbed the mountain. What's next? This is lighter on my back, easier to share stuff around the world, and have fun doing it.
The crypto skulls have this cool kind of brand as being right between the historical and the big breakout of the early 2021 enthusiasm around NFTs. So occupying this place culturally to say, largely with Leonidas's leadership, saying, look at the historical timeline, look at the value of these, the provenance of these first on-chain assets and NFTs and the digital antiquities, branding that out, there's a lot of people who see that as being kind of a gimmicky sort of a thing, or nobody collects old tech, there's a niche market, whatever. I sort of appreciate all the different perspectives about it. But I like the narrative for my part. I think it's cool to have some early on-chain assets, maybe not your whole portfolio, not financial advice, but nonetheless, that Skulls brand, the OG Crypto Skulls brand has been defined largely that way. And so when we were looking at Cybers and talking about how we want to take the brand, how we want to, provide value to holders, like what's our pitch, right? What's our value proposition? And for us, we were like, well, it seems so clear that it would have to be something about onboarding people to the metaverse. So our real objective is to go and form these relationships with all of the different influencers and builders in the different metaverse spaces, and begin building our own 3D, spaces within, each of the metaverse spaces, just like you have, Gary, in Voxels, and to really link it all up for people, to provide that on-ramp for people to say, hey, this is how we access the metaverse. These are all the different expressions of the metaverse. And that guy Zuck is doing something different.
Yeah.
Same thing as back to the FTX thing. Like it's the same thing, like the centralized exchanges like FTX and BlockFi versus and Gemini, or not Gemini, but Genesis and all of them, but versus DeFi. And then the same thing with the metaverse. You have the centralized metaverses versus the more decentralized versions. And yeah, it's really hard because no one even understands what the metaverse is, and it's just exactly there's a difference between just go watch Ready Player One. There's a difference between the centralized entity that wants to own everything and the decentralized ethos, which creates more collaboration and public verifiability and more distribution across ownership to level out the playing field. So it's an open technology. It's not something where one person has all the control, all the power. And yeah, we're getting there though. I think we're getting there.
Yep.
Sort of. It's going to take time. DCL community is starting to talk. It's funny, actually, Gary, to look at the economics of the process of getting there, because some early investors bought up a lot of Decentraland land, and it's not unlike real estate development. A lot of times the money will come in, see the opportunity, and swoop up the land, and they might sit on it for a while. And a local community might suffer because they want a grocery store there, and the developer just is looking to flip the land. They're not really going to invest in it. So there's a little bit of that happening, a little bit of a standstill.
I feel attacked because I have some land in DCL and I don't have it developed yet.
You're just one of those, aren't you? You're just in here, just a big tycoon out here, an industrialist. Okay, we got to
I'm not
fight
exactly a tycoon, but I do own more than one house, so.
Well, you have more.
It's hard. It's harder to develop Decentraland land, versus voxels. Anybody can do it in the browser.
Totally.
But I wish I could just. I wish it was like, maybe like, it'd be cool to find a tutorial where I could just go buy like some architected building, like I'm willing to pay something. Is that like an NFT? I don't know.
Well, no, there's actually
file.
Can you use a 3D model? I got some buildings in one of the 3D model websites that I use.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it works at all for really Decentraland. So yeah, like maybe we can get like another live stream and we could just have a Decentraland day. Yeah, I do want to do more exploring. I want to have like streams where we just explore crypto voxels.
I'd love to do that.
Assuming like my computer can handle it.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Do you use Substrata at all?
I don't know.
Substrata VR is an amazing metaverse and it's so realistic. For me, I learned how to build in it. It's a really cool once you learn, and you can. It's friends of Crypto Voxels actually. Substrata, very very similar. Just Substrata is a bit more crispier with the graphics.
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice too. No, this is nice. Wow.
Yeah, so this works good. Yeah, so this is primary mega. This is like I was gonna put I was gonna make this a clothing store, but we can make this whatever we want.
So you built this piece?
Yeah. And there's a second floor. We have a rooftop. But this is alpha primary. Wow. This is my gallery here.
Oh my goodness. Beautiful.
So you come in here and you can grab yourself like a pizza and a wine.
Wow. And
so I do a lot of art blocks. So I got a lot of art block stuff here, and some rare pizzas art, plus some other art blocks, and I mean all sorts of stuff. I don't want to. This isn't like a whole gallery review video, but
that's cool.
I
like the box a lot. I'm gonna look into getting a piece there, Gary.
Yeah, no, it's really
super cool what I'm seeing, because from Substrata, there's a lot of Substrata builders that came from Crypto Voxels, and they're always showing their Crypto Voxel stuff in some of the groups that I'm in, and it's insane.
Yeah.
And the prices aren't bad right now still, like considering what you're getting.
Yeah.
For a parcel for maybe $800 US, I think it's not a bad price for something like this, where you can actually build and utilize really easily, or easier, right?
Yeah. I mean, no. It's. I mean, dare I say it's like infinitely easier.
Yeah.
Because it's all in browser. It's all
exactly.
It's all.
You build the wall, you pick the model, and boom.
Yep. Yeah. You lay the bricks and you pick the material. It's just it's like a looping image.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so much possibility, and like you could just explore. Wait, where the hell am I? You could just explore this whole place. Like there was this one building, and it was like so much fun, and there was I realized there was like a hidden wall.
Oh yeah, that's really neat.
And like we can just
it's so much cool stuff to see. So many great builders and artists in here doing all types of stuff.
Yeah, like look at this building.
Yeah, look at that building. That's cool.
This place is nice. Really low ceilings, but
that's gorgeous.
Could have optimized that space. Go with the low ceilings.
That's it.
It's really low ceilings. Yeah, they probably had to make it this low just to be perfect to fit the extra floor.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's small, but it's really well decorated.
Can you fly in this world?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah. So you don't if you get to the roof, you can just jump off.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to come back down. So that's one thing I learned as an architect in this virtual metaverse thing is like I was heavy into using stairs and doing realistic buildings, right?
No, you got to have stairs.
I realized I'm like, you know what? I created a concept where it's like an open kind of building where there's still rooms, but you flow through them and travel up through like the flow.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's all right. It's an easier accessibility, I think, to like see the building and what's inside of it.
Yeah, I mean, I got actually there are some of those buildings, but I could try to find them. But yeah, I went traditional. Like I have the big glass walls to make it like bright and
for
open.
sure.
But then
I have those buildings too.
I have this traditional staircase.
Yeah, I have them too. In my first original designs, I was like I said, going heavy with the big glass, the nice doors. You know what I mean? I would love it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring the real world into the metaverse, but then I realized I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try and keep it a little more open and just breeze by, get some good photos for now, and then we'll see about building some like really architecturally cool stuff with staircases again. I'm not sure, but this is really fun.
I saw a space last night. I think it was maybe last night. I believe was night before actually. It was with Ben from Australia, who's investor in a real estate investor, former rugby player, and he is doing something fantastic where he's tokenized a piece of property that he owns, IRL piece of property, and he's gotten the deed all settled up on chain, and he's selling this piece of land this way. He's created a beautiful 3D walkthrough with AR or VR of the entire interior. So it's imaged with some tool, 3D image perfectly. And then the exterior has been 3D modeled in a way that represents it for the NFT itself. It's quite nice. So he's trying to sell this property. I think it's like a $1.2 million property or something, So, but as soon as I sell this one, this is a proof of concept, and I'm ready to start scaling this real estate, on-chain real estate, empire. It's crazy.
This is cool. I love it.
What's this Ben's last name?
I think his company's called Wakely Properties. So I assume maybe he's Ben Wakely.
Very neat.
And you can find him on Twitter, just Ben, BEN, and then the Australian flag. I think he's been AustralianFlag.eth actually. I think that people like this, who are on, like, there's one guy in DCL. This is so beautiful, Gary, by the way, man. There's this one guy in DCL who is Fidelity, agent. And I used to work a lot with the Fidelity reps when I was an independent financial advisor. And so it was cool to see this guy had taken this spin where he's like, okay, I'm going to build a Fidelity plot in DCL for my independent brokerage office. And I'm going to host metaverse financial literacy training sessions. I'm like, there's probably few people attending them. But the point is that he's there and he's built, he's the receptacle at the end of the road out west. He's out there ready to sell people their flour and sugar. He's set up and he'll be one of the only ones, some of us who are seeing that way and getting there early. It's not going to be just no competition at all, but just first mover advantage is going to count for a lot right now.
That's beautiful.
And Gary, it's so cool to see Voxels just in its splendor. So what is your ambition for your metaverse building, Gary? You're clearly exploring it, and you're trying it out. What's your end point?
What the hell is this?
Yeah,
Flashy lights.
Psychedelic.
It's like look there for the TV.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's cool. They got like a whole open like grass area. They could put a building here.
The metaverse needs parks too.
Yeah, I gotta have parks.
That's true. It's very open. It's an open area.
Oh, MoMA! Look at that.
But now we can go down this like shiesty alley that looks kind of cool.
The MoMA Museum to your left there.
Wait, oh man, I just walked into a church.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't know.
The Twitch church, apparently.
The skull there at the top. That's cool.
Wait, is this Star Wars? What am I looking at?
I don't know.
It's like lots of robots.
Yeah.
This is a really interesting build. I would love to know who's responsible for this.
Yeah.
Is this a working radio? Let me fly.
Well, that's part of the beauty of
I'm here preaching ENS.
my people.
Amen. Amen. ENS. You get your
Amen.
name, get your identity on the blockchain. Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? This church is just here. So you okay? So you ask, what was my vision, right, dude? I just found a church, and oh, that's Bender. Okay, like I was gonna say, I don't know if this is like what kind of church this is. I see a bunch of droids. So, but I can just commandeer this church.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, you know, I can't change anything, you know, but
you can bring groups there and have your chat, and like that's someplace to meet. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, hey, we're gonna meet at this is called the church at 12 Jinx Extension. That's where we are right now. We're at 12 Jinx Extension, and yeah, I can preach with the toasters. I like the toasters.
Let's start crashing like
I can't control this TV, but
I like this. I like the idea of discovering a cool destination anywhere and then just like assembling there, you know?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Look at this place. What's this like giant mermaid thing?
So much great stuff you can do. That's what's cool about the metaverse. If you're a builder, creator, there's nothing really better. That's awesome.
What's this place? Like some sort of money museum? Yeah, so I mean, there's just so much. Oh, money. This is money. Right? A lot of money.
Beautiful.
It's a famous guy who I think recently passed away.
Wizard X.
Yeah.
Wizard X.
Is this a whole lot of money space? I know Wizard X. I have some of his NFTs. I also have a whole lot of money. I have his 420 collection through Async Art.
This is
He's
him,
a big
right?
cyber skull holder.
That's him, bro. That's him right there. A whole lot of money. He's passed away recently, but this is definitely him, man. We're in his space.
Oh, he's right in the church.
Yeah.
I didn't even see him. He's so big.
I knew he
he's
was
in Substrata as well. Then that's
in his Discord. He links out to some of his properties that are for sale, and a lot of people don't realize.
Oh, wait a minute. This is sorry, go on.
Well, no, I'm just saying he's got some stuff in the metaverse that's for sale still since he passed away that people don't know about, you know, like that you can find through his Discord.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is called the Sacred Bionic Church of the Holy Toaster. So that's where
the parcel or whatever. It's what it shows up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, can you see at the top of the screen in the browser here?
Mm-hmm.
See right here? It says Sacred Bionic Church.
This guy was so ahead of his time. Like when I saw his first kinetic fountain thing, it was like a pixel fountain, and I think it was
it's owned by a lot of money.
Dude. 0.3 though, it's for sale.
No. Oh my god, dude, I would have bought not in this neighborhood. Trust me, that would have been swiped up a long time. The floor for this island is like 1 Ethereum. So he's in Origin City. In this suburb. Let's go check out the floor. So the Origin City floor is 1 Ethereum. And this neighborhood floor is 3.3.
Oh.
And it's like ENS. You can place bids. And the floor overall for crypto voxels is 0.4. But this
does that get you a good property though, or do you get like a small property for that price?
It's not so much about small. It's about location.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go.
I was looking at the floor here the other day. I was gonna maybe thinking of buying one, but I wanted to ask somebody.
This looks like a decent sized square, right?
Okay.
This square looks bigger than this square, right?
Right.
This square looks bigger than this square.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So that's
but I'm gonna click on it. I'm going to show you how to read it.
Yeah, please.
So this is the address. It's 2 Snowflake Square.
Okay.
And we're going to look at the something up here, the properties. So what do we see here? So the island is Kronos. So let's go check this place out. Where's my button? Wait a minute. There should be like view on CryptoVox. Where's the view?
Right.
wonder if I can just do this. Yeah, that works. Okay, so that's the square, not right. This one here. That's
Okay.
it right there.
And that's as high as it can be done. That shows you the actual map of it.
If I scroll down a little bit, like back to where it was over here too. So like, let me remember. Yeah. So levels, if you click on levels are separate than properties. And if you click on levels, you get to see the area. So the area is actually decent. 182, I think I'll call it square feet.
Okay.
Or whatever. Or whatever.
Meters.
Meters. Yeah, meters. Units. And the depth and the width, it's 13 units by 14 units. And then it can go 8 units high. I think the smallest is 6. So 8 is a little bit above the floor.
Yeah, it's like a 1-story that looked like it shows. So that outline there is like an outline of your property you can build in.
You might be able to make it two stories comfortably. With or you can make it 1 story with a good roof, with a party roof, like my one place that I showed you.
So those are good tips. Thanks.
But yes, but going over, where is it? Oh, here. I think, where's the map? Just the button. Yeah. Okay. So here's the map. I could zoom out.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
And this is apparently the island of Kronos.
Okay.
Aptly named, because it looks like a sundial.
Mm-hmm.
And and we're in like the wintry neighborhood apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was to zoom out more.
Oh wow.
So Kronos is way the hell out there. So this is Origin City, right? So Origin City is like the center.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is sort of like the center of this is like Manhattan.
That's where you want to be.
I mean,
potentially,
yeah. You want one of two things. You either want to get like somewhere in the center, because that's the original center.
Sure.
Of the Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop.
Mm-hmm.
But another option, depending on your jam, is that it's possible, like if there's an island out here somewhere, like say like Kronos out in the, I don't know, where the hell is Kronos? I can't even find. Oh my God, look how far Kronos is.
It's pretty cool though. I like that actually. It doesn't even matter because you can still travel. Like it's not like you're taking a plane there.
Or are you? Maybe one day. But so anyway, there might be a place in Kronos where you can get like several buildings next to each other at a lower price point.
Right.
Because the OG buildings in Origin City, there might be like a bomb building where it's like an OG building and like maybe Frankfurt and like a skyscraper. Like there might be a skyscraper in Frankfurt where you're willing to pay 50 Ethereum or 150 Ethereum. Because like there's buildings in Frankfurt that go like, I mean we could probably find one and travel there actually. But there's buildings in Frank where they're like huge. So height, say we do height, we do like 45 minimum. I usually shop on Gem because I like the aggregator.
Yeah, same.
And I was really curious about the height aspect. This is really cool, Gary, because for the clock tower, for the 24-hour club. So now I'm realizing it's going to be expensive to get a tall one in voxels.
I mean, unless it's like potentially cheaper if it's not an Origin City.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So let's try to go 30 feet high, 30 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Let's go 20. I mean, you just got to place bids.
Wow.
I mean, you know how OpenSea goes too. It's like,
yeah, crypto voxels is big though. It's really popular, I realized, and a lot of like I said, builders and stuff are there really using it. They're building some really cool stuff. So it's got some traction in there. A lot of users. Whereas in Substrata, we're like maybe 5 people are in there at a time.
We need to throw some social functions where we can really gather a crew together within
nice.
Gary's parcel.
Mm-hmm.
and what you've built.
Well, you
inside
know,
of
you know how you have a Twitter Spaces, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm just like zapped into this building. Yeah. So how we have a Twitter Spaces? You have a Twitter Spaces where everybody's like on mute in the game. I can't even zoom out to show you this whole building, like from here.
That's cool though. Looks great.
But I'm zapping into it. Yeah, and then you could just meet here. So yeah, it's like huge. So this place is like 10 floors, and the ceilings are gigantic.
So cool.
I'm not sure if sometimes you click these and you zap. Oh yeah, so the elevator. So you're in the elevator and you just like zap to the floor.
Yeah, that's cool.
Rent
the
this
floor. Wow.
And there's like stairs somewhere. Oh yeah, I remember this place. I hate it how you don't make the stairs the same color as the floor.
Yeah, that's the
Pro
thing.
tip. Come on.
They learn. After you build a few, you learn more. You know what I mean? You get the tricks under your sleeve.
Come on. They got to just come back and change. Yeah, so now you can just like go up and down the floors. So this is basically like a depressing office building. And the windows don't open, so you can't jump off the window.
Yeah, that's where I got like dumbfounded a bit. I was like, I'm gonna change the concept of this metaverse building stuff to keep it a little more open.
It's such a depressing.
No.
They couldn't have you open the windows for fear that you'd jump out.
Yeah. No, but you can. This is an elevator here, so if I click this, it takes me to the lobby.
Oh, that's really good.
So
okay. That's a great feature we don't have in Substrata.
And so here, I think if I click on, say, where's the roof on the bottom?
Rooftop bar there.
A little bit. Oh, where am I going? Oh yeah, roof. So I'm going to click the roof. That one's not working. There we go. That was it. That's now we're cooking. So this is the roof.
Wow.
And the roof looks kind of cool.
It's great.
We have a roof. Got some fire. I've seen better fire. You got to upgrade the fire in this roof. Oh, they got a bar. They could put some. Oh shit! I just fell through the roof. All right, that's some sort of hazard.
Check those knees out.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So yep, they got this cool, fun bar here. Behind the bar. Yeah, so there's like really big buildings.
It's cool. It's cool stuff. What I started doing with my buildings was like started to utilize like NFT communities. Like I know we built one for the Cyber Skulls, but I also built one for the V1 Funk. So like a dedicated space to a community so that it gives us something to talk about. And like by building a shrine for these communities inside of these buildings, which I own a few, I might as well put some use towards them. So it's kind of cool to like, you're doing something for that community. So they're obviously going to be more inclined to work with you and share your ideas or what you're up to. And it's just a way of getting more people together to learn even about the metaverse too. Like they have a shrine in Substrata now. What the hell's that? Let's go look. So I try to do that with Mooncats, Ether things, and some of the historical projects I'm involved with. Built everybody a dedicated space that I'm not even using. It's for them. I'm utilizing it actually, so I am using it, and we get to market with it.
Shout out Mooncats, man! I got a Mooncat too. I love the Mooncats. It's just funny, like having spoken with some of those guys over the last few months. Midnight Lightning, their dev, and then also Pause, who does a lot of their community development stuff, and they've been going through some restructuring and figuring out what the future looks like for them. But a lot of people don't really know those Mooncats, man. They've really innovated some stuff. Their custom pixel art boutique and the token standard around the accessories for each of them is really an innovation. That's like the first soulbound token, you know, because it's bound to the asset. Like when you gain an accessory, it's associated with that Mooncat. And Midnight Lightning had basically innovated this way of associating a token, a new token standard that could be like held by a 721. So that's basically what the Mooncat Boutique is, this really cool innovation. And a lot of people don't know it for what it is, but it's really actually it's like the first soul-bound token. He really I can't remember the 3-digit standard for it, but it's even got a standard. It's like the 921 or 922 or something. Like it's actually right. It's quite interesting to hear him speak about it. And I think a lot of people in that historical space kind of appreciate Mooncats for that reason, but they're often referred to as a stable coin of the historicals. I often say fur over floor because the price has been pretty, even when because people are diehard fans, right? So like the small historical liquidity has already bought in largely, and then when the market generally dumps, they don't sell. So they're just like a really stable store of value. The Mooncats just hardly budge.
Yeah, interesting artifact. Just like art for the fiat world, right? Traditional art for the fiat world. It's like a similar artifact for NFTs in Web3, and the whole world is repeating. With the internet and Web3, and everything in real life is going to be digital in Web2, and everything digital in Web2 is going to be in Web3. It's happening.
That's my interest in the endpoint for you as a commerce, because I see Michael building these spaces out. I'm looking to build custom 3D spaces, and we really kind of see meta commerce being the future. But at the same time, like that could be sort of a soulless future if it's all so commercially oriented. So we're trying to find the right balance, probably, of like a commercial space and an artistic, creative, collaborative space.
Lots of things to come. Gentlemen, it's getting late for me over here. I'm in Toronto. Had a long day, and
thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for teaching us about the cyber crypto skulls and the crypto skulls, and a little bit about your art.
That was great. No, thanks for letting me share that, and awesome to see you purchase them live. That was so cool. Definitely gonna follow up and hope to be on your channel more often. I'm gonna follow you on Twitter when I get off this call here, because I just can't multitask too much.
I know it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. Yeah,
but I got my notes here of everybody I want to follow and some things I want to do, and definitely hope to be a part of the group again. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for coming, and yeah, we'll chat again soon, I'm sure.
That'd be great. Thanks so much.
Yeah, Michael, it's great to hang with you, brother. And Cyber Tuesday is going to be a big deal. I think people are going to be hanging with us, hearing some house music, chilling out. So I'm looking forward to inviting Gary and 184 and everyone to Cyber Tuesdays to come chill with us too.
Amazing. It's going to be great, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks, 184. Thanks, Novax. Cheers, Gary.
Cheers.
Catch you, Michael Meta.
Thanks, guys. Ciao.
184 and I had a chance to speak this week. It was pretty cool. We had a nice conversation. Really enjoyed getting to connect with you some, man. And I really appreciate your mind for like security. And I'm sorry to hear about, something you had mentioned that recently you or a loved one had endured a little bit of a frustration in that regard. And I think that, it's important that we double up our efforts. Me personally, I'm starting to, think more that way. I've always been kind of an old school paper wallet guy, and my hot wallet's been traveling around a little bit too much, and it's time for me to really double down on my security efforts. So I was just tuning into the domain plug space. I was really focused on that recently, and our conversation got me thinking a lot about security and the different protocols that I want to take to ensure that some of my more prized assets are in a vaulted space where they're able to just accumulate some value and mature and not have any risk associated with them when I'm doing my other stuff. So it's an expense and a frustration to have to do it. But I think it's just, as we grow our portfolio, it's important to remind, the keeping all the eggs in one basket is going to be a bad idea, especially if it's a hot wallet.
Yeah, that domain plug space was pretty good. I loved listening to it, and I actually went back and had to repeat it as well. But catching up with you was great. So Novax reached out, and Novax is a great person, and it is just in this ENS space, it is great to have the one-on-ones in addition to the large space groups and things. And I really enjoyed catching up, and we'll do more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's good to have a chance to break out. There's certain just things that you get to know about each other when you do the one-on-ones. And even this can be a great, I think what Gary has started here can be a really cool tool for that, for those breakout sessions. And there's something in between getting on a one-on-one call with somebody or exchanging your phone number or whatever, you know what I mean? Where you can just get that little additional trust point of contact here and going on video here. I mean, this is a really cool innovation and iteration for us as a community to say we're going to get on and really speak in a more long format where you don't necessarily have all of the repetition, right? Like the stigma of a Twitter space, the expectation of what's going to happen there. This is a fresh environment where people have a chance to be seen in a different light and to be shown to a different audience. And I think those things are really important here. So I think that we'll do more of it. I think we'll kind of connect and meet someone here in January. Maybe you in January can branch out and, do some business development and talk with her about ways that we could be a support to her and vice versa. And we never know who's going to accept the invitation and have the time. So I think it's also a lot about us just sharing that invitation out and bringing people in.
Building, connecting, community, all of it. Yeah, big stuff. Yeah, real quick. I mean, we have the last story before we all go. We have El Salvador bullish again on crypto. We talked in yesterday's show about Tim Draper. Tim Draper made a prediction before, like in 2018. We were talking yesterday. Tim Draper still sticking to his prediction that Bitcoin's going to hit $250,000. I guess early mid 2023. I don't know how that's possible. But today we're talking about El Salvador, and El Salvador did put their Bitcoin purchases on pause, and they have now revised that decision, and they are now purchasing 1 Bitcoin a day. They currently hold over 2,000 Bitcoin, which is a lot of Bitcoin. 2,381 Bitcoin. Total investment of over $100 million. This, as the Bitcoin BTC investment of theirs, has declined $39 million with the current market conditions, but they're still holding. And November 16th, yesterday, they announced that they're going to be purchasing on a daily basis. He tweeted saying that they're going to be purchasing 1 Bitcoin every single day starting today, November 17th. And they're buying. And if Bitcoin, ever goes back up again, and if it ever hits the all-time high again, and let alone if it goes to 100,000 or more, dare I say a million, then they're going to recoup some of that investment, and then they're going to look like geniuses in a country where Bitcoin is legal tender, and people are probably, learning more about digital identity and stuff like that.
So what's the presidential term? What's remaining on his time in there?
That's a great question.
Five years.
$2024, so in 2 years. So by 2024, if we're saying 2023, 2024, if before his election, whatever the hell that is, he's gonna be doing great. He just needs Bitcoin to turn around before the election.
He's young. I didn't realize how young he is.
I'm gonna be here. I'm just gonna go cam off because I'm knackered. I'm exhausted, and I'm doing a little bit of work in the background as well. So I'm listening. I'll participate, but I'm gonna go.
Yeah, we
no
can like
cam.
actually wrap it up. Now or soon. You know what I mean? It's like, we've been chatting for a couple hours, talking about it, going through it all. The big news I think is going to come tomorrow. I mean, I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow, but we're gonna be going through what is this Nike swoosh, this .nike.swoosh, Nike ID, Web3 ID from Nike. What is that going to be using? Is that going to use the platform launches tomorrow?
Gotcha. Okay.
And so if you wanted to register for that, you can pre-register potentially today. I don't know. But yeah, is it going to use a Polygon ID, unstoppable domains, a combination of Polygon ID and unstoppable domains? Hard to say.
Well, I think one of the other conversations we can talk about is what's going to happen with Twitter. So the recent news is that there may have been a walkout from some of the core devs to sort of keep things running. So we might all be on YouTube very soon if Twitter's stalled or
diversified. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a conversation for Sunday as well, I think.
Yeah. Maybe we should have like a YouTube video, like how to download a Mastodon account. Yeah. There's a lot of social networks. What's that?
I would love to see Twitter experience an outage and to be sort of revived, whether it's brought into bankruptcy or something crazy, where Twitter could be, parsed out and made an example of a big tech company that's been sort of taken over by a DAO or something, kind of like what people thought might happen with the Blockbuster DAO.
Yeah, I mean, that would be. I don't think Elon would do that. But anything is possible, and I don't know. I'm bullish. Just for the record, I'm really bullish on Twitter, and I think that there's a lot of obstacles in the way, and I don't think it's a sure bet. Not by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's going to be a lot of hard work, a lot of challenges. But, so are electric cars and sending rockets to space, reusable rockets and stuff. So, and Twitter before had a lot of problems, and we definitely need a solution, whatever that solution is. And yeah, there's a lot of close people to Elon where they're fans of ENS. We could get some ENS integrations. We could get some crypto integrations. We could get some DAO integration. We could get an open source Twitter algorithm. There are a lot of options for what they could do to improve.
Yeah, of course, like Twitter's not dead, and there's a thing that's been going around culturally, which is we like to blame someone and say everything sucks from them or it's failing. So we might say Twitter is failing because of Elon, but that's a cop-out. That's a cop-out, and we don't need to. Twitter's fine, but it will be interesting if it does have a short-term kind of pause or stall or shutdown, and maybe that is the catalyst for things like ENS integration or that not transcendent, but that transformative shift to something completely different. And I suppose that's what new leadership can bring, and we might just have a hiccup in the short term. But yeah, exciting if we can get something blockchain in there, and if it's anything Ethereum, well, ENS is going to be right with it.
Imagine having, Twitter DAO. In my opinion, I'm not very bullish on DAOs from my last experience in the last 18 months or so. Even though I believe in decentralization as a core principle, I just think DAOs are so early. We have this cold start problem. So I think it'd be like a death sentence for Twitter to go into some DAO, kind of arrangement. I don't see it ever happening either. So I don't know why I said that. But the more I think about it, I think if Elon is able to give us the feeling as users who have invested considerably of our time to build a following and a platform and a community here on where we're at in Twitter, I would like to feel more secure. At the very least, I would like to feel like my data was on chain, and like whichever kind of arbitration process could permanently remove me from the platform was a little bit more manual and maybe a little bit more community driven, as opposed to just some shadowy person behind a curtain. And I feel like those are things that Elon is probably in alignment with. I think from what I see with his values in general, I think we're going to get more something like that.
Yeah, I just hope we don't get more along that journey. Are more people that are deplatformed, because we've got those like Magnum, so 1289.eth, Bromhill, what was it? I think Soy got deplatformed as well. And what I noticed, it not only do they disappear for a short period of time and they lose everything that they've built up, but the sheer number of great content that these people and many others have produced, you notice it when you go back over your threads, and you notice these gaps in these linked tweets to threads that they've written, information that goes back a year, 2 years. Gary, imagine if Twitter deplatformed you've got articles that date back, I'm sure, 2017, and they would be linked, and they're a resource. They're something that anyone coming into blockchain and Ethereum and ENS, they'll start reading articles, and I know I'm linking things from things you've written years ago. So I do hope that we don't see some more losses like that in the meantime.
A lot of risk the way this world is, and that's why it's really cool, the opportunity that we have and what we're learning and what we're doing. That's why blockchain is so exciting, because we could do things that we could never done before.
And now we can bring it back to the platforms that we originally exited from. I mean, I personally left YouTube and Facebook decisively years ago, and now I see their value at this moment for the purpose of bringing people into a different experience of the internet. Bringing them into a Web3 metaverse experience. And so, if everything that we do here is kind of an onboarding tool and an invitation for people who are consuming content on Twitter or on YouTube or Facebook or wherever, to take a step into our world and set up a Web3 wallet, purchase their first NFT, get their first ENS domain, build out some DWeb content, and just grow and learn with us, get some metaverse building happening. I think that we're using the tools right. We're using the right tools the right way. And the objective would be to, move into more distributed video hosting platforms and things like Library, Odyssey, and others. So I know that there's those emergent tools that are more immutable have their challenges and stuff. And so we find ourselves a lot of time, I'm curating all this content within YouTube. Right, it's YouTube content inside of the metaverse, and increasingly, I feel weird about that because I don't want to be building metaverse stuff that's so embedded into YouTube. But I think this hybrid state is important to actually realize that this is a place where we can have we can actually have the most impact here, really, because this is the time where everyone has to come through that narrow gate of learning how to use this stuff. So, time for me to come back to YouTube and Facebook and to do that in the name of building something hopefully much better.
Yeah, and so how will you publish to YouTube and keep those backups for yourself? What do you do right now? Because I know you do a bit of hosting on YouTube. How do you capture those videos so that if YouTube goes down or removes you, that you still have them? What do you do right now?
Well, at this moment, I'm just screen recording. So a lot of my YouTube content is screen recorded, and so it's already like before I upload it, I have the file for it. And I used to do a lot of production, editing, and stuff, and now I'm really burnt out on that. So I don't do a lot of in-depth editing as much as I did. And so most of the stuff I do is just kind of like low effort screen record and give a little bit of info. Increasingly, a lot of my content is also generated from Twitter Spaces that get automatically, I can like one click upload them to YouTube. And I'm really not as worried about the immutability of my YouTube content right now, because I'm not really making controversial content. You know, in the past, I was making more controversial content. The stuff that I'm making now is very monetizable. It's very monetizable. It's very, you know, low. You know, it's not going to upset people, you know, so it's not very controversial. So I think I'll be all right for the most part. But, you know, we've seen different things where people are threatening to ban crypto entirely, or delisting or deboosting crypto related content. So there is that concern. And I guess really I don't have a great answer other than I think for stuff that as I start growing an audience on YouTube, which is very small right now, I'll probably increasingly just use a tool like mirroring to BitChute and mirroring to Odyssey, so that my YouTube content just goes, you know, immediately cloned to another place. So I don't have to worry if it gets deleted from YouTube. Big deal, it still exists elsewhere.
Yeah, okay. And you mentioned Odyssey. Is Odyssey a rebrand of Library, or are they two separate things? LBRY.
Yeah, so they're kind of like, it's good to think of the structure of Library, the blockchain library, as being like the digital infrastructure for hosting BitTorrent content on that is organized on the blockchain, right? So it's like Library blockchain itself is kind of like the replacement for Pirate Bay or something. You know, it's like the seed directory, immutable seed directory. So now the point of failure at Pirate Bay, for copyrighted content anyway, or whatever, was, you know, the centralized website. Whereas now we have Library, the blockchain, which will be that and be very much immutable. And then you can have any different, you know, block explorer. Odyssey is simply the one that was first built kind of largely by the Library community. But the vision is sort of like, yo, anybody can make the block, can fork on the Odyssey Library block explorer. So think of it like Library is the blockchain and the token that you know, that powers the experience of discovering it with whatever explorer people use right now. I think the main one is Odyssey.
Awesome. And you don't find too much difficulty in using Odyssey? Fairly straightforward?
Oh yeah, no, it's super straightforward. I guess it's just the challenge of it is that, you know, it is a blockchain based thing. It's not going to be your standard like EVM compatible MetaMask experience. So it's kind of like every time you pick up, this is another part of blockchain. It's challenging is every time you pick up a new wallet and a new chain, it's like more stuff to manage and keep track of and learn and be aware of. So there's a little bit of a probably like an onboarding curve for that, you know, or like a little bit of friction for that reason. But it's really easy as far as like the user experience to do it. It's very easy. It's just kind of the first time I think I had to go on KuCoin and get some LBRY or something in order to even upload my first content. So it's just those little points of friction that are not ideal. But yeah, it's generally the user experience is pretty good. Playback is a little crappy sometimes. And so that's one of the reasons why it's not an immediate replacement for YouTube.
Hmm.
And Gary is back in the building. Hey Gary, did you have some technical issues?
Yeah, what happened? Did I drop out of the room?
Yeah, we lost you for a minute. 184 and I were holding it down together.
Yeah, cool. No, I accidentally opened Chrome and it crashed my video stream on my end. So just had to refresh the browser and let the computer process.
Well, I appreciate you hosting this and inviting me on here, Gary. It's really cool to just, you know, get this time in here and have the chat with January and with Michael. I was hoping a few of our other buddies would be able to join us tonight. Looks like they didn't get around to
It happens.
Hopefully next week, you know, or Sunday. You said Monday through Thursday and Sunday, right? Is kind of the schedule. So
Sunday Sunday. Yeah. So yep, Sunday through Thursday. Yep. That's the plan right now.
Cool, man. Well, I'm going to try and be here as often as I can and to try and bring some cool guests and help to do what I can to support. I love minting coins as a vision for reaching the folks are going to be a part of this next massive, mass adoption. We know it's coming, and so we're just kind of like catering to them. We're trying to roll out the red carpet for them. I think that this is the right way to do it, man.
Thank you very much. Yeah, well, thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Yeah, we're just gonna keep on doing it, keep on making content, keep on putting ourselves out there and just going over what's happening in the news and bringing people along with us. There's just a lot to go over every day, and we just need to I'm just gonna show up and keep on doing it. I'm gonna see who shows up, and and just one step at a time. It's just a game of 1%. Just every day do 1%. Wake up, make the bed. Do what you could do. And that is that. But if you're here, thanks for being here. Hit that like button, share this video, subscribe, hit the bell icon notification, and and we'll see you again Sunday. And so until then, we